Here is a summary of Hume's inquiry concerning human understanding. First, he presents two species of moral philosophy that he believes have predominated through history, what he calls the easy and obvious philosophy and the difficult and abstruse philosophy. He defines the easy and obvious philosophy as considering man chiefly is born for action and is influenced in his measures by taste and sentiment, pursuing one object and avoiding another according to the value which these objects seem to possess and according to the light in which they present themselves. They make us feel the difference between vice and virtue. They excite and regulate our sentiments, and so they can but bend our hearts to the love of probity and true honor. They think that they have fully attained the end of all their labors. The abstruse philosophers, Hume says, consider man in the light of a reasonable rather than an active being, and endeavor to form his understanding more than cultivate his manners. He thinks that neither is adequate, but he has a real problem with the difficult and abstruse philosophy, because it seeks to answer more than it can, and it allows a home for various superstitious views. He hopes to, quote, undermine the foundations, unquote, of the abstruse philosophy, so that we are left with clarity and truth. Next, Hume provides a mental architecture. That is, he tries to show us what elements exist in the mind and how they relate to the world. He does so by arguing that everything in the mind can be classed into one of two categories: ideas or impressions. Ideas are copies of impressions, so that everything that is known is acquired through experience. Third, Hume argues that there are three ways ideas are connected to one another: through resemblance, contiguity, or cause and effect. There are two proper objects of investigation: relations of ideas and matters of fact. Relations of ideas have to do with those ideas that don't originate with external impressions, but only with internal impressions. Thus, anything that we know besides certainties like mathematical truths would be a matter of fact. Here's where we get the first of Hume's skeptical arguments. It looks like all matters of fact are grasped via cause and effect. Now, if everything is knowable through experience only, then we must be able to observe cause and effect in order to have knowledge of any matters of fact. But what justifies our reliance on experience? Here's where Hume presents an argument dealing with what has been called the problem of induction, which leaves us without any rational basis for beliefs having to do with matters of fact. Hume has a way to solve the problem, but it doesn't remove skepticism. He says that we learn through custom or habit, after multiple observations, what results from what. But when Hume pushes harder, it becomes clear to him that causation itself is not knowable. This constitutes his second skeptical argument. Hume then sets out to explain two perennial puzzles based on his previous argumentations. These puzzles are free will versus determinism and miracles. Finally, Hume presents a third species of moral philosophy that he himself advocates: academic or skeptical philosophy. We'll look at each of these parts in the next podcasts.